Big Red Machine. How long do you think it's gonna last? Album review. Let's chat about it. Hey guys, what's going on? John here from What's Spinning here, and I chat about this latest album from Big Red Machine, the musical project of Mr. Aaron Dessner and Justin Vernon. Back in 2018, they released their self-titled project, and I thought it was okay. It was some parts folktronica, some parts more electronic, some parts a little bit more chamber pop oriented. I actually thought Justin's warm, inviting vocals as well as Aaron's approach to production made for a pretty cool combo. But a lot of this album I thought was also very tame, and I also, more often than not, questioned the chemistry between these two, even though they've known each other and worked together before. However, leading up to this new album here, How Long Do You Think It's Gonna Last, I thought that they were dropping a slew of really fantastic star-studded singles, and I've been actually pretty interested to chat about this thing, so let's do it. This album starts off with Latter Days featuring Anais Mitchell, and honestly it's a pretty warm, inviting start. It's really sharp, it's very sorrowful, it's even a little bluesy, but my god, the vocal harmonies throughout most of this album are pretty stellar. They're pretty awesome here as well between Anais and Justin. Truthfully, I think that this plays to everyone's strengths all around. It's a great single and a great start. And as far as Reese goes, I think it's one of the best standalone tracks here, and I know that's a little odd to say, but when you look at this album, almost every track has a feature on it in some way or another. As far as just a Justin and Aaron track goes, I think it's one of the best here. It's a quaint, bluesy piano ballad with very warm vocals and some real great chemistry between the two, and those jazzy backing instrumentals. Give me all that you got. It's nice, and not only that, not only am I enjoying this in the moment, but it really, makes me want to go back, check out some classic Bon Iver, some classic National too. But for now, I'm for this. I think this as an album is an improvement all around. Then we have Phoenix featuring Fleet Foxes and Anais Mitchell again, and honestly, this is just an all-around stellar tune. These three acts blend together so well. I love the quaint instrumental, Robin Pecknold's vocals, which just continue to just get better with each track that he just shows up for, and this big, glorious, sunny, harmonious hook is fantastic. Hell, this makes me ready to get out my pumpkin spice latte and enjoy some crisp weather for sure. Then we have Birch, our first of two collaborations with Taylor Swift, and truthfully, it's nice. I feel like the overall sort of folktronica elements compared to their last album are coming off better these days. Like between the lapping riff that we get here and the harmonies between Justin and Taylor, I think it's a recipe for success. It's hypnotizing. I mean, personally, I like Renegade a little bit more, actually a lot more, but still, Taylor's dip into the indie world continues to be really nice. Speaking of Renegade, this is so good. I mean, yeah, if you were listening to the last two Taylor Swift albums from last year, you're gonna want to report on this. I think it's the best track here. Once again, the harmonies between Justin Vernon and Taylor Swift, chef's kiss. And lyrically, it's not just throwaway indie trash either. By the end of this, it is a swirling, epic, wintry indie tune, and it's great. I really also love Mimi featuring Ilse. I love how sunny and carefree this track is. Once again, I feel like Aaron and Justin play off each other so well throughout this album, and Ilse's contributions here are fantastic. Her vocals are just heart-melting between just this unbelievably lush instrumental and the slide guitars. Between that, all the passion, the marching feel to this all, this is very likable. Not only that, but Big Red Machine just sound like they're, so much more on track with like a mission statement with this album. Sadly though, something really weird happens with I feel like the second half of this album, a lot of the tracks on that. First off, this album's freaking long. This did not need to be over an hour of an album. But a lot of the later tracks, I feel like the chemistry kind of wears off, and very quickly this just becomes like throwaway indie garbage. If I was kind of on the fence about one single leading up to this album, it would be The Ghost of Cincinnati. It's lessened on me even more ever since. Personally, I'm sorry, I'm just not as into Aaron's vocals on this album. I feel like this is just so flat. You know that it's bad when this is one of the shortest tracks here, but it feels like the longest. And Hoping Then is just very, very average. I have nothing to say about this. There are so many tracks on this album, so many long tracks. This just falls so under the bar. And then we have Hutch featuring Lisa Hannigan, Sharon Van Etten, and My Brightest Diamond. And in so many ways, this is the biggest disappointment on this album. Justin's vocals here are some of his least inviting and inspiring on this entire project. And then we have this lineup, which personally, I was most excited for this track compared to any other track here. It's such a dull tune. And you can't see my notes over here, but under Magnolia, I just wrote, nope. It's just way too sunny and bouncy for my liking. Not that this album shouldn't have some summery, more warm tunes. That's fine, I don't have a problem with that. It's the songwriting here. It has plummeted quickly. It's half-assed, there's no chemistry. I'm embarrassed. This is the kind of track that would have showed up on their debut album and it just would have upset me and I would have turned it off. Jude's a River featuring Ben Howard and This Is the Kid. Also, this track just comes off like too many cooks in the kitchen. A lot of talented people here. Kate Staples is an incredibly underrated songwriter. I love her stuff. But this track is awkward. This has the nuance of a track recorded between 4 people who just met each other 5 minutes ago. And then we have Brycey. I don't know what's happened here. All of a sudden, the chemistry, the nuance of this album just washed away. This isn't a charming, inviting chamber pop and folktronica album. This sounds like you'd find it in the bargain bin at Urban Outfitters. This sound right here worries me for the future of Big Red Machine. This album should have been trimmed down because there's tracks on here that didn't need to be here. That being said, I think that so much of this album still warms my heart. There's a lot of really great material on here, and I do have hope for the rest of this project in the future. Easy to Sabotage featuring Naeem, I think it's one of the best experiments here. I love the funky drums and the off-kilter performances. Honestly, this sounds like something out of the more experimental side of the Bon Iver catalog. Compared to some of the other tracks here, this track is wildly out there. It's the longest track here, but that also seems to feel right to me. This feels like it should be a long journey. And honestly, tracks like this make me feel better about the band's future. I like 822 AM featuring La Force as well. It's hazy, it's psychedelic, it's got this storytelling element to it as well. And honestly, it makes things even warmer. Between the luscious harmonies and the flattering instrumental, this works. And New Auburn featuring, once again, Anais Mitchell is a really nice finale. Give it to her. She really brought her freaking A-game on this album. And yes, this isn't the most progressive or forward-thinking tracks here, but it's pleasant on the ears and it makes me feel good. So listen, this is certainly not a perfect album. This is not an album that needed to be 15 tracks and well over an hour. As a matter of fact, when this album gets bad, you can very easily tell which tracks shouldn't have made the cut, so to speak. That being said, there's a lot of material here, and for the most part, most of it just makes me feel good. It's very warm, very cozy, very forward-thinking, and at the end of the day, Aaron and Justin, as Big Red Machine, show so much more chemistry on this album compared to their debut. I'm feeling a light 7 on this thing, but let me know what you guys think down below. If you liked the video, be sure to give us a like, give us a subscribe, and let me know down below what you would like for me to chat about in the future. And until next time, have a great day, guys.